Okay. This one might be a little bit challenging to do because I don't want to actually attack right now, but we're going to talk about attacking. So the main way to attack is the war room, right? So first you choose the kingdom. Let's just go with 1-7 first. Oh, why is it slow? All right, then you can't see on this drop down here, but you go to target province. So first I change my kingdom. This is where you do it. You click go to do it. Then you go to target province, and that's where you select, there's from the drop down, the target that you're going to attack. So, for example, let's say my target is Yippee-ki-yay. This almost certainly won't be my target because you can already tell this percent number here. That's how his or her net worth compares to my own. So I'm probably not going to, like I'd probably be targeting something more like this, right? This second choice here, the attack type, this is where you choose the attack type. Now, I've been asked this a lot of times. Which attack should I do? Which attack should I do? If I don't specify the attack type, then assume it's a traditional march. And if you do a traditional march and I meant for you to do something else, that's 100% on me. Okay, just assume it's a traditional march. Traditional march attacks for land. That is the majority of the attacks you're going to be doing. I will sometimes call for raises or massacres and outside of war plunders. The other type of attack that is also something I ask for is ambush, but that is a completely different beast, and I will explain that at the end of this video. But for now, let's talk about your main form of attack, which is a traditional march. Now, the traditional march and all of the other attacks, except for ambush, the rest of the information still applies. You still need to, modify your attack time. You still need to choose how many generals you're sending. You still need to fill in the value. In this case, I don't have enough offense to break this target. But this is great, right? Because most of my army is out right now. But this is going to be a good example for you to see, right? So you choose traditional march, you modify the attack time. Right now it says underneath the attack time is 14 days, which means 14 hours. You can go -2 all the way up to +4. Now, notice something. If you do -2, look at your gains. Yeah, sure, your attack time decreased by 2 hours, but look at the gains. -23% gains. That's pretty severe. So +4, now the gains don't increase anywhere near as much for adding. You're adding 4 extra hours and you're only getting 14% extra gains, right? So you really only ever want to use these applications if you need to. Like, let's say you're attacking at a certain time and your military won't come back until like 1 a.m. and you're like, well, I am dead asleep at 1 a.m. and I'm not going to be waking up to make another attack. I'm going to add 4 hours so that it gets back at 5 a.m., which is, closer to when I wake up. Or you can do minus hours. If maybe you do stay up, you're kind of a late night owl or night owl and you stay up till 11 or midnight. Well, minusing a couple hours could give you, that extra attack, right? Ideally, you never want to add or subtract. What you really want to do is when you build something, you want to add maybe some barracks to your build to adjust your attack time to a more reasonable attack time. Now, when you're in war, everybody's attack time is just under 12 hours. So what you want to do in war is like, okay, let's say you attack at a certain time and your military doesn't get back till let's say 5 p.m., right? Well, you can attack at 5 p.m., but you'd rather attack at 7. So maybe you want to add a couple hours to that first attack so that it gets back at 7. Well, now you're on a 12 hours morning and night where it's 7 a.m., 7 p.m., right? And this is ideal because you want to always have your army in, army out. You want to be able to, in war especially, as soon as your army is back, send it right back out on another attack. So finding that time slot that works best for you so that you can have a night attack and a morning attack, that's the goal, right? Now, if you're hyperactive and you like to attack a lot and you are able to check a lot, that's when you get people playing things like Avian Tactician. They have insane attack times. They can attack every like 5 or 6 hours, right? So that's not for everybody, right? But if it's for you, go for it. Anyway, so pick the target. I'm just picking a random person. Traditional mark, like I said, is going to be the most common one. Let's not modify it. Oh, one quick note about attack time. Notice how it's different now, right? Based on the target. The further away the target is from your net worth, so like Yippee-ki-yay, look at that attack time. He's almost half my size, and that's why my attack time is so long. But if I pick somebody that's really close to my attack time, or my net worth, look at how the attack time is only 14 hours. So that's the other reason why it's important to attack people that are closer to your net worth, especially when you're not in war. In war, doesn't matter how big they are or small they are, your attack time will be 12 hours, just under 12 hours. So, some of these things get thrown out. All right. Normally, if you're doing just one attack, you want to send generals, right? Especially if you're sending one attack and you're sending all of your troops, right? There's no reason to keep any generals back if you have no offense left to work with. Now, I sent an attack last time and I kept a general back because I kept 2 generals. Because I have enough offense to work with that my current offense right now that I have is 55,000. So I'm able to attack somebody else or run a couple of ambushes if I get attacked with this army left, right? But you need a general. So that's the main purpose of a general. Each general can run an army, whether to attack, well, it's always to attack. So you can split your attacks up into 4, because you have 4 generals. Unless you're playing the general personality, then you get an extra. But anyway, so why is that important? Well, if you're attacking a province with low defense, let's say I have a target that has 10,000 defense, right? Well, if you have 40,000 offense, you can attack that province 4 times. So you would send just 1 general, type in the numbers to get to that 10,000. Most of the time, it'll be by clicking this fill button because you have gotten a spy on defense, which I'll talk about in just a second. You fill it, you attack, and then you do it again and again and again until you've attacked 4 times. All right. Now, how do we get these numbers, right? So notice here, this target province defense. That means in the most recent spy on throne, spy on defense, or spy on military, this number has popped up. Whenever you select the target, so let's go to Yippee-ki-yay. Notice how that number changed. His defense is only that, according to our latest intel, right? Now, why is it important to get new intel? Well, it can change every tick, right? I am training, let me show you. I am training defense in my build, right? All right, well, every hour I'm getting like 10 trolls, right? 10 trolls adds like 100 or 110 defense, plus the modifiers that I have. So every 10 trolls adds like 150 defense. That could be enough. That could be enough to make the difference, especially if you're clicking fill and it's trying to autofill to the closest it can get over 101%. Well, 10 units can make a difference and make you bounce the attack. So you want to make sure that before you attack somebody, you go to thievery, you choose the province, and you choose spy on defense. Now, the reason I say spy on defense is because it only costs 1 stealth to do spy on defense. Spy on military costs 2 stealth. Now, spy on throne should theoretically work. However, there is currently a bug with spy on throne where whenever you go to the war room and click fill, this number doesn't quite update totally, and so it causes bounces. Somebody said that it was a bug and it's been this way for a few ages now at least. I don't know. So to be safe, just use the spy on defense. If you're worried about not having enough stealth or whatever, do spy on defense. It's an easy one to succeed, and it only costs 1 stealth. And you'll be safe. You're doing that. Now, what you want to make sure is that your offense, which is listed here, is both 1, higher than the target province defense. It must be higher. Two, you want to make sure that it's actually 101% or more. Now, when you do fill, it should automatically do that. The only times that you should really have to worry about it is like, well, actually, I kind of want to send a few more mercenaries with my attack instead of ogres, right? So let's say I wanted to do something like that. Okay, well now I'm messing with the numbers that were already filled. Make sure you click on another text box or away from the thing that you just changed so that this number updates. Well, now this number is 99.32%. That's a bounce. It's not going to succeed. It needs to be higher. It needs to be 101%, right, for a guaranteed success. So you can play around with it a little more, like, oh, well, let's go with 1280. Okay, 100.98%. Not 101. Don't do it. One more ogre. So notice how I changed it. Nothing changed here. Click another text box. Now it fixes the number. You have to click away so that it shows you 101%. You're good. Now you can attack. You attack. You click prepare military. I'm not going to do that right now because this would be a horrible attack. But you click prepare military. A little pop-up box will show up, and you can click OK. It's just like, are you sure you want to make this attack? Okay, you do. And then you click it and it goes. Now up here at the top, you'll see in green, hopefully, green means you succeeded the attack, red means you didn't. In green, it'll show you how many acres you took, how much you killed, how many troops you killed, how many troops you lost, how long it'll be before your army gets back, yada, yada, yada. Good stuff. Okay, that's pretty much it for attacking. Yeah, make sure you do spy on defense. Now, real quick about attacking. One way to try to find a target, if like we're in war, for example, let's say I put in the royal commands, attack. These are the two chain targets or something. All right. Well, let's say Nidoking is one chain target and Tigana is another chain target, right? Well, Tigana has 24,000 defense, approximately, and Nidoking has 96,000 defense. Well, if you have 96 or higher thousand offense, then you probably want to attack Nidoking, right? But if you only have like 24,000 offense, then your target is Tigana. You obviously cannot break Nidoking. So, you know, that's one easy way. You go to Intel site, see the targets that you can attack, and you know, if I'm telling you to chain these two different targets and one of them you cannot hit, well, don't waste your attack hitting somebody you're not going to succeed on. You know, attack the person that you can, and so on and so forth. Or let's say, you know, I put those two chain targets, but then I'm also like, oh, and then there's a dump target. Dump means like use your remaining offense to attack. Your dump target is Landrin, right, with 10k defense. Well, let's say you are a beast and you have 184,000 attack, like Executor does. And I've told him to attack this province here, Dragonite. That's 160k defense. Well, he can attack Dragonite once, right? 184 minus 157 leaves him about, let's say, 20k just to be safe. Well, so he can either use a second attack to maybe break Tigana, or he can use two more attacks to attack Landrin twice. Now, outside of war, this would be really silly because, you know, Landrin is tiny and Executor would be zero gains. It would be a useless attack. But in war, there is no like range really. Yeah, it'll be less. He'll get less acres for it, but it's still a useful attack. Because one, you're lowering the acres of that province. Two, you're gaining the acres to your own province. And three, oh, you're getting your armies out, which is something you need to do. You don't typically want to keep your armies home because they're more vulnerable to certain things. Less so these days than in the past. In the past, Night Strike's only targeted at home troops, but it's still important. Like if you get hit, you know, with elites at home, they still die and so on. So yeah. Okay, that about wraps it up for attacking.